We are about a month away from what could be my last trip to Disney World, at least for quite a while. So what preparations are we making? What preparations should you make if you're going to go to Disney? What do you need to think about? And what extras are we doing? Here's our preparation list, tips and tricks, ways to save money, and what we're hoping to do. So there's a lot to cover in this video because a trip to Walt Disney World is a big trip and there's a lot to do to get ready for it. I always wonder about those people that just show up and don't have any clue because they're the ones that have trouble. So if you're going to prepare for a trip to Disney World, as we're preparing, there's a lot of planning steps. So I'm going to talk about preparations that we've made, ways to get some cheap souvenirs, things that we're hoping to do, meet and greet information, things to take with you, and just a whole bunch of information that hopefully you can use for your trip. Preparations. This is kind of where you start off heavy, and I have to give a huge thank you to Craig, who is kind of our Disney guru now. Craig is the one that really sponsors our Disney trips and spoils the stuffing out of us. So Craig covers a lot of this on his end. But these are things that you're going to want to do, and if you are overwhelmed with all of it, consider picking up a Disney travel agent. Since they don't cost you any more money, they literally cannot charge you a commission or anything. So if you're overwhelmed with the planning, contact an official Disney travel agent who can cover a lot of this, and they'll help you out. And there's a lot of them out there. Mickey Travels is one. If you do a search, you'll see a bunch of them. And I've used them in the past myself. They're great. But the first thing is hotel reservations. Where are you going to stay? What's in your budget? This is a huge budget issue, so think about it carefully. Disney hotels are going to cost a lot more. Just be aware of that. You're paying way over what you normally would. But you're also not paying for parking. You're not paying for transportation. You are on property, so there's a lot of convenience that goes with it. That was one of the very first things that was booked for us was, where are we going to stay? And on property? Yep, we're staying on property this time. Staying at Animal Kingdom Lodge, which is amazing. Possibly my favorite resort. So I'm very excited about that. Blessed, because there's no way we can afford it. DVC is a wonderful thing. If you're not familiar with the DVC Disney Vacation Club, it's a Disney timeshare. It's something that if you're thinking about going to Disney a lot, think about it. So, hotel reservations, number one. Park tickets. Disney tickets are expensive. Discounts are almost non-existent. AAA has a minor one. I'm trying to remember where we bought ours from this time. But it's only like a 10% discount. So, if you see somebody offering you a Disney ticket at 30 or 40% off, beware. Be very wary. Fraud alert. Don't go to these discount Disney ticket resellers and stuff. A lot of those are bad tickets, and you may find yourself stuck at the gate not getting in. So official Disney tickets, and it's basically through Disney, through AAA, and there's like two other websites. And I'm going blank on them. If you remember what they are, put it in the comments below, and I'll try to add it as well. But again, the number of places that sell official Disney tickets are limited, so be careful. After that, dining reservations. Dining reservations can be made up to 3 months in advance, and the most popular places book super, super fast. So like the Space Restaurant at Epcot was booked literally within an hour, I believe. Fully booked for when we're going to Epcot. You've got to think ahead of time. Where do you want to eat? And be aware that the later you wait, the harder it's going to be to get into where you want to go. There are places that open up at the last minute due to cancellations, but you may not want to plan on that. So if you're wanting to get in Cinderella's Royal Table, for example, you're going to want to be, as soon as your booking reservation opens up for dining, you're going to want to be hammering that because otherwise you won't get in. Plane tickets, shop around. I don't do the bargain fare airlines. My son likes to, and I give him a bad time. But book your plane tickets. Look around for what's cheap, what's affordable, what's going to work with your time frame. This is all budgeting stuff too. So hotel, park tickets, dining, plane tickets. It adds up quick. Hotel, outside too. In our case, we're flying out of Arkansas at 6 in the morning. It's about an hour and a half drive to the airport. I don't want to have to be driving to the airport at 3 in the morning to be able to get on my plane. So we've actually booked a hotel that's right outside the airport to make it a whole lot easier for us to get up that morning and help make sure we get a decent night's sleep before we leave. Sleep is a good thing. Other thing that we've reserved that a lot of people don't, but is starting to, I'm getting more feedback on this, is we've already reserved our scooter. If you need a scooter to get around, reserve it a month ahead of time. And there's several different companies out there. Most of them will deliver to your resort hotel. Most of them will require you to be there when they deliver it and be there when they pick it up. We actually rented through Scooter Bug, which I've used before a couple different times, because Scooter Bug actually has agreements with Disney where you can go in and if your scooter needs service or something, you can actually get it taken care of in Disney. They can come into the park, fix it, or replace it, or whatever. Many of the scooter companies can't do that. The other thing the Scooter Bug can do is they can actually drop off at your resort, and you don't have to be there at the time. We've got it being dropped off late morning, early afternoon, the day that we arrive. So my scooter will actually be there waiting for me when I get there. And then when I leave, because our flight again is at 6 in the morning, I'm not going to be there, at 9 in the morning when they pick up. I can just leave it at the concierge area and they take care of it. I don't have to worry about having to be there to drop it off. So Scooter Bug is great for that. They're the only ones, I believe, that can do that. The others all require you to be there. But plan on $40, $50 a day for scooter rental if you're looking at that. Depending upon who you're renting from, you can find them cheaper, especially depending upon the type of scooter you want and stuff like that. But that's a good round number. Around 40 is usually a pretty good rate for a good scooter. Oh, and then other things too that I think about ahead of time. I have this wonderful thing called Priority Pass, and this gets you into the airport lounges. We've got a 3-hour layover, 2.5-hour layover in Atlanta on our way down, and then hour and a half, almost 2 hours on the way back. Okay, so we could spend that in the regular airport. We could, then spend money on airport food, which is also expensive, and deal with the crowds. And then you get something like this. This is actually offered through one of my Visa cards. It's basically free lounge access. It's limited on the number of lounges, but there is a lounge at the international terminal, and we can go down there, and while we're waiting our 3 hours, we can go relax in the lounge, which has good Wi-Fi signal, comfortable seating, actually has showers available, free food, yes, real food. It's on higher end credit cards, so be aware. But if you've got something like a high-end American Express or a Delta card, things like that, a lot of the cards that deal with travel will include some sort of lounge access. Capital One, I know, has their own lounges as well. So look at something like that. It's a small thing, but when you're traveling, it's a really nice thing to have that opportunity. I have a Disney Visa card, and this is one of the other perks with it, is I get points back, which turns into Disney dollars. And when you are on a super tight budget like I am, I use the card for various other things. And so by the time I do get to go to Disney, I actually have a little bit of souvenir money on the card. And it helps me be able to afford stuff. This actually will work not just at the Disney parks. I can actually go to my local Disney outlet and use it there too. So it's a way to get used in a variety of places. If you're going to travel to Disney, I actually know people that have paid for their whole entire Disney vacation basically using this off their Disney card. So it's something to think about. Look at your credit cards, look at the rewards you get, use those systems. You can cover a lot of your expenses that way, including souvenirs. And my goodness, have you looked at the price of souvenirs lately? And pins? And they're expensive, crazy expensive. So like I said, this is one way to save some money, but there are a few other things too. One, if you happen to have a Disney outlet store near you, go check it out. They actually get park merchandise into the outlet stores. We've got one here in Branson, and that is where I go oftentimes to buy my pins, especially for traders, because they're parked way down. They get other park merchandise and stuff like that. So go check out the Disney outlet And if you're in Orlando, there's actually 2 of them at the outlet stores called the Character Warehouse. It's full of in-park merchandise. Marked way down. Great way to get official theme park stuff cheap. Now, the selection can be iffy. It can be crowded. But it's a great way to get some real official stuff lower price. And they may or may not have what you want. But check it out. The Walmarts in the Disney area, as well as the Targets in Disney area, also have official or very high quality Disney merch. The pins are all good and things like that. Beware of the bargain outlet stores and the flea markets and stuff. They are filled with fake, cheap knockoff stuff. If you're a pin collector like me, they're fake pins. And why Disney doesn't crack down on these things, I don't know. I've never understood that. Same thing with park tickets, though. Avoid the resellers. Don't do it. But that's my biggest tips on saving money on souvenirs is go to the outlet stores and then Disney and Target. You'll save so much money and get stuff that's just like in the parks. A couple things to take with you. I know there's a lot of videos on stuff to take with you. One, comfortable walking shoes. My goodness. Okay, so I have to get a pair because right now this is my walking shoe. It's also kind of my dress shoe. They're not bad shoes, but you're going to be walking 5 to 10 miles a day at Disney. You need good walking shoes. Even if you're not a walker, even in my scooter. Last time I was at Walt Disney World on a scooter, I still walked 3 miles and scooted around the rest of it. So good walking shoes are a must. Don't forget that. Don't slouch on that because otherwise you're going to be hurting really bad. And then watch the weather. May through October, it's always warm, it's always hot, and it rains every day. So you can plan on that in Florida. The people that come in, I can't believe it's raining here in Florida. Yep, all the time. October through May is what we call the dry season, which means it doesn't rain every day. It just rains like once a week. Typically when a cold front comes through, and yes, Florida can get cold. I have seen ice in Florida, but it also can be warm. You literally can have one day that's 80 degrees, the next day can be 36 degrees, and then you're at 65 degrees. And so you're like all over the place come October through May. So you have to kind of be prepared for everything. Watch the weather. Bring jackets during that time. Good idea. At least a light jacket. And just pay attention to what the weather's going to be. And realize that what you're looking at 3 weeks ahead of time is not accurate. You really need to be looking at the weather like the day before you leave. Throw a coat in there, throw a pair of shorts in there. Yes, coats and shorts at the same time. And that will help you be prepared. It means extra packing. It's a pain, I know. And then me trying to squeeze it all into a carry-on suitcase and a backpack. That's going to be fun. But yeah, I pack light. I try to. So things I want to do, I've got a couple things coming up. We're going to miss Country Bears by 10 days. Country Bears is closing 10 days before we go. Urgh! No more blood on the saddle. So sad about that. But Tron is the big new thing. Have not been on Tron yet, so I can't wait to do that. I think that's the only actual new thing on this trip. We are doing Hoop-de-Doo Review, which I've worked at Hoop-de-Doo Review, but I've never actually attended the show. Seen bits and clips while delivering pictures. So this will be kind of fun to actually see the whole thing. I think Tron is really the big new thing that we're doing on this trip. Other than that, a lot of it's just going to be kind of... I'm not going to feel like I have to rush to everything. It's like, let's just relax and enjoy and see what we want and do what we want, but not have to run around. So I do have a meet and greet coming up, though. This is my other big thing I want to do. We're actually going to do it at Animal Kingdom Lodge. I contacted them, and we should be good to go to meet at the lobby of Animal Kingdom Lodge on Tuesday, February 6th at 6:30. Now, I know a lot of you are going, but you can't get in there. Actually, there's 2 ways you can get in. One, you should be able to come up to the security booth and tell them that you are meeting George Bernash in the lobby. George Bernash is staying at Kidani Village. He's got dining reservations. He's meeting his friends before dinner. So tell them you're meeting George Bernash, staying at the Kidani Village, and the Animal Kingdom Lodge lobby, and they should let you in. However, if you're a little nervous about that, you can also park over at Disney Springs and then ride a bus over to Animal Kingdom Lodge. Just be aware it is going to take a little extra time, but the buses are free. It's not restricted to Disney guests. Anybody can do that. Animal Kingdom Lodge lobby, 6:30 p.m. on Tuesday, February 6th. Hope you can make it. We're excited. Very much looking forward. It's going to be Craig and his wife. They won't be at the meet and greet, though. It may be just me at the meet and greet. But on the trip, Craig and his wife, my son, my daughter, Megan, and me. My wife, unfortunately, can't go this time because of work, but we'll have a good group, and looking forward to hopefully meeting up with some of you out there. Do you have other questions about the trip and things to plan? And, can you wear a Universal shirt at Disney? Yes, you can. I get asked that all the time. As long as it's not obscene, it's fine. But we're very much looking forward to it. We're excited about the trip. I hope this helped you plan your trip as well and some things to think about. But let me know. If you have questions, comments, please share them in the comment section below. Thank you so incredibly much to my patrons. Craig for helping me for covering a lot of this, but my patrons are also covering a lot of the other expenses and things. I couldn't do trips like this without them and their support. And I try to give back to them too. If you want to know more about that, check the description below. Thank you so incredibly much for watching. God bless. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please let me know your thoughts, your comments, your suggestions, your ideas. Be sure to share them in the comments below, or you can contact me. There's information in the description that has my email address, fan pages, information about merchandise, and so much more. So be sure to check that out. Don't forget to hit that like button, share the video, and if you haven't already, hit the button right up there to subscribe. And in fact, if you did enjoy this, I've even got another video for you right here. And also about these wonderful people here, those are my YouTube members and my patrons, the ones whose financial support makes this possible. I couldn't do it without them. If you want to know more about that and the perks that come with it, well, be sure to check the description. There's a link right down there. Thank you so incredibly much. God bless.